Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Let's do my usual stretch before we get to going here. Uh, so, let's see here. We got interesting idea this time around. Last week was a little bit more, chill. It was rainy outside, so my energy level was a little bit lower than usual. But in general, I think my energy level is going to be a little bit, it's going to be somewhere between last week and obnoxious YouTuber, but a happy medium in there. A couple things before we get started. I did change desks, so my arrangement is different. According to the camera there, it looks like it's pretty much the same from your view, but the microphone is now on my left, so you can see more of this stuff that's going on here, right? More of the hand cam. I guess I should turn on my tablet. That would help, right? So if you see me forgetting where I put something, it's because the desk is completely different now. So let's plug this in. Let's get some of this going. Right. The cords are backwards because I moved everything exactly what I was talking about. I thought I had it perfect, but apparently I had it backwards. Good. There we go. Good. So, it's going to flash. It's going to be a little weird thing here. There we go. So, for this stream, the main focus for this one is we're going to go with Ghost of Tsushima, because everybody's hyped up about that. I've been playing the crap out of it. But we're not going to do fan art, right? We're not going to just like make a Ghost of Tsushima piece. We're going to make our own world that is similar. But the reason why I just don't like doing fan art because what ends up happening is, let's say you were applying for a job for Sucker Punch, right? Let's say you wanted to work on something with Sucker Punch. If you do fan art of Ghost of Tsushima, they see that you can do what they've already done. They don't see that you're being creative and designing your own stuff based on what they've done. You know what I mean? So like if you just make fan art of something that's already been done, then you're kind of just copying. You're not really innovating, designing. So it's less weight to being hired if you do fan art versus if you make up your own stuff within the same world. So we're gonna make some stuff that looks like Ghost of Tsushima, but it's not gonna be Ghost of Tsushima, Ignore that call real quick. There we go. So let's get started here. If I can remember what I was doing. There we go. So I went ahead and I grabbed a bunch of shots of just random stuff, right? Some are from China, some are from Japan, some are from Korea, India, like they're all over the place. But the reason why is because they all share the same kind of pagoda style architecture, where the roof kind of curves out. Korea is a little bit more extravagant. It's like the flamboyant cousin of pagodas. So I try not to use that one because it has a bunch of like dragons and spikes and stuff all over it, which it looks really cool, but it just doesn't fit the theme that we're going with here. Also, I focused on color because Ghost of Tsushima is very colorful. It's not like Sekiro or what was it, Sekiro, where it's like desaturated and dark and gritty and gross. This is more contrast with colors and then blood and stuff like that. So that's what we're gonna go with this time around. So let's get started here. Let's see. I was thinking in my head, I was trying to come up with a couple ideas beforehand, just to see what we could do. And one of them that I was thinking was a scene of a bridge, some kind of bridge where you got two, like there's the bridge that goes across, and then two samurais facing off or staring at each other about the face down. So let's see if we can. I got a few bridges to try. I don't know which one will be best, but, you know. Oh, you know what? You know what would also help? If I go ahead and fix my settings here, because I have my Tartarus profile. I am just all over the place with this new desk. It messed me up. Alright. There. So now, should be good to go. Alright, cool. So let's see here. I'm just going to zoom in. It's going to be, you know, it's a low res picture. It's not really something that is really crazy HD. So zooming in on it's going to cause a little bit of a blur to it, but for what we're focused on, it should be okay. It should be doable. I don't know if I wanted the mountain in the background like that. I think it might be cooler if we had some trees, maybe something. Oh, by the way, you know, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. You know, it doesn't really matter what the question is. I'll try to answer it to the best of my abilities. Maybe these. Obviously, the water is too blue, but we're going to see what this does. Darker color, maybe? Yeah, so darker color. Delete some of this blue down here. There we go. So then we want to focus on the bridge. So I don't know if we want to use that bridge or if we want something more extravagant, something like this one, which is technically a modern bridge, but it's cool because it's red. Why not, right? We can try it out. Let's see. Because if we put it there and then delete that one, what does it look like? Nah, I think this is better. It's more warm. It's cool. I mean, not cool colors, it's cool factor. So, let's just add something else to it. You know, it needs something like something. Maybe it needs like a garden here instead of a river. So if we take this kind of fake, I mean, it's probably real, garden setup here. Let's see if we can't add some more color to it. Make it like a rocky bridge. Maybe kind of cool with grass growing on it, like moss. Maybe lighten, and then just delete a bit. No, I think this is looking cool. So what we'll do is we'll lower it a bit. I'm not looking at the house. I'm looking at this bit on this left here with the trees and the grass. So if we play around with that, yeah, about there, we can kind of just delete everything else and get this cool grass growing on the bottom of the bridge here. So let's content aware this bit. I don't know what it's going to make. Perfect. It's actually spot on. All right, sweet. So then I'm thinking we would want the two samurai in the middle, right? So I think that would probably cover it as far as you know, us dishing out some ideas here in the thumbnails. I think that setup right there would probably cover the idea. But I'm going to see what happens if we add some more color to it, like, or actually, nah, yeah, if we just add a little bit of color to it. I like this picture. It doesn't have anything to do with the bridge or forest or anything, but it's got cool colors. It's got blue with this like purple and then gold highlights. So what we can do is we can blur it out. Do a little Gaussian blur. Just crap load, like just really, really mess it up, or it's not even noticeable. Like that. And then let it do its thing. Darker color. Overlay. And what it's doing is it's taking those colors and it's just adding them to the image, which is what we want. But I don't think it's really going to add that much to help here in this particular situation. So yeah, I think we'll just trash that one. Okay, so that's fine. We'll just leave that. That's fine. We'll move on. Let's go with. I was thinking for these scenes, since the whole point of Ghost of Tsushima is that it's a bit cinematic, right? So I was thinking more cinematic scenes. You can have narratives, you can have establishing shots, but it's got to be very cinematic, and it's going to look very classic samurai movie kind of shot. So I got this one. I could try this. This one is in Japan somewhere. I couldn't tell you exactly where it was, but I really liked the composition of it. Whoever shot this had a cool composition and idea. So if we kind of zoom in a bit, kind of cut it off on the right, delete all that crap. There we go. So this is some kind of temple, obviously, right? But we don't want it to be the exact same temple that is here in the image, because it's just going to be a copy of real life, and it makes the asset kind of not work, right? Because people can recognize it, stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take content aware and just start content awareing in certain spots, just to kind of mix it up, add some variety to it that's not exactly the same. Like, that's cool. We can make a tree here. If we just let's do like that, maybe. Yeah, that's fine. So then we don't want this on the sides. I don't like this. I'm assuming it's a handicap ramp, but you know, there were no handicap ramps in feudal Japan or China. So let's just kind of get rid of those a bit. The perfect bushes make sense because they're very particular about looking nice. Everything has to look nice. So I think that'd be fine right there. We can maybe mix this up a bit. See what that makes. Nope. Let's try it on the sides. Yeah, the sides are fine because that kind of dulls it down a bit from being so recognizable. Okay. Sweet. So don't think. Yeah, we'll leave the river. It adds a little bit of coolness to it. So let's go ahead and find something with a background, because right now the background's kind of lame. It's just a bunch of green trees. I mean, it needs to be something cool, right? So maybe something like this would work, because this has just a bunch of random trees in the background. The focus is actually this rock in the front, but since the trees in the background are all blurry and out of focus, it does add a bit of depth of field to the image, which is nice. So do we want darken? Or do we want lighten? I think lighter color works. Just because of the fact that it has this white tree involved. So what we can do is we can either pin light it and see what comes up. No, we'll do a lighter color. It's fine. And then we'll just drop the levels down because it's too bright, obviously. Just to give us some tree variety here. I don't like the stuff on the actual building though, so we're going to mask that stuff out. Get rid of all of that junk. There we go. Then we can get rid of some of that. That cool. Cool. Coolio. Alright. So now we need to fix the sky in the background because right now it's just too normal. It doesn't look cool, right? It's not cinematic enough for us. But what do we put there instead? We should do something like maybe this one. I'm thinking. Yeah, probably. Sure. We'll go with this one. So this one's cool because it's got, you know, it's a cool shot with the sun and clouds and everything, but I like the colors of it. So let's try playing around with that. Let's do, it's definitely darker color. But the problem is it's so dark. I don't think the rest of the image is going to match. Yeah. Okay. So then we'll do something else. We'll do something like this. This one's got this cool mountain in the background, which will add some kind of, you know, something to look at. There we go. So darker color. Kind of just do like that. And then delete everything down here. Just like that. Delete all of this. So just erase it. Ah. There we go. So we erase that, Duber. Get rid of some of that. Okay, this is looking cool. So then, all right, so we'll go ahead and just delete all of this stuff. Delete, delete. There we go. Cool. So this is still very bright. It's not cinematic, you know, it's like just like a daylight shot. So I'm gonna mess with the levels on it a bit. If we just bring them down, really. Whoops, wrong layer. If we just bring down the levels just a little bit. Okay. Just like that. And then we can take the midtones, brighten up the background a bit so the mountains are still there. We'll darken and brighten where we so choose. The foreground definitely needs to be darker. Just add some kind of like a spotlight effect, you know, where the focus on the building is lit up more than everything else. So that's dark, that's good. That's good. Cool. Cool. So I think we'll add in some color to the trees, which we can do with something. We can do it with something. We could try, you know, honestly, we could try these again from the left one, same trees, but change the color of them. So hue and saturation, just change it to like a purple to go with the red of the building. Something like that. Just okay. And then darker color. Lighter color. Darken. Yeah. Darker color is fine. But the question is, do we leave it purple? I mean, I know that looks terrible. Yeah, I'm well aware. But if we just kind of get rid of some of that, like that, it'll start looking better. So, just like that. There we go. So the question is, do we leave it purple or do we change it to something else? Something... I like the yellow. That looks cool. I like yellowish orange right there. I think that works. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. So, I think as far as sketching goes, you know, just for us, not to show anybody, but for us to know how things are coming along, I think that's probably fine. So let's go with a new sketch, shall we? Let's do... I had an idea of a field. It's not, you know, it's not really going to show like architecture or anything like that, but it is going to show the feeling of the game. So if we do like a grass field or some kind of field of like flowers or something, I think it would look cool. So maybe if we mix in something like this, get rid of this guy, content aware. Thank you. Get rid of that as well, since it's just a duplicate or a duplicate. All right, you know what? Let's do that. That. Content aware. Would you freaking disappear, please? What if I just do both of these? Because it's very easy to content aware this area since the sky is so pure. It's just so smooth, right? So I think if we kind of just get rid of some of these blades of grass, there we go. All right. So now let's find something cool here. Let's do maybe something like this might work. So maybe it's a scene in the game where the samurai that you're playing, you know, might actually let's get rid of the grass. He might be like roaming the woods, right? So let's kind of keep that idea, but actually do want to zoom in a little bit, something like that. But we want to make it cool. Right now it's just a bunch of freaking trees. We need something colorful. This is, you know, the world of Ghosts. This is the world of Ghosts of Tsushima. So, you know, like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So let's you know, emphasize color. That's the point. Something, maybe this might work. Lighter color probably. And then get rid of all the trees stuff. Like that. And then kind of just erase that out a bit. Not sure if the trees is the way to go here. I think, yeah, I have a better idea. If we scrap the trees. Scrap the trees. There we go. If we go ahead and use these bamboo trees that I found, there is this kind of this cool shot of this walkway with these tall, very tall. I'm assuming that's grass, but it is very tall, so it might be like, I don't know, associated with some kind of plant instead. But if we take this idea and shrink it down just a little bit here, about there. Yeah, and then get rid of the people in the middle. We want to make this whole path here grass. This whole little walkway that they've built that lets you walk through the forest. We want to make all of this grass. Because the idea that I'm having in my head would be this kind of super thick grass. It's not this tall, so we can play with the perspective to fix that. But the super thick grass that the hero, whoever he may be, or you know, she, if there were female samurai, not sure if there were, but anyways, we're gonna make this grass, and then he will be on a horse walking through it. That's the idea in my head, at least. So I'm kind of just sketching it out real quick. But I like this this lighting on the grass. This kind of canopy lighting that's going on. So I'm gonna try to continue that, just here and there, oot and a boot. So let's do all that. I think this tree is fine, but I think the trees themselves might be too bright or too saturated. Is that what I'm feeling? I'm feeling something. You want color, but you don't want it to, you know, you don't want to taste it. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. So then we also want to brighten up. We want to darken it a little bit on the sides, because we don't want the focus to be on the sides. We want the focus to be on who we're playing. So if we take this middle piece, content aware, there we go, kind of blend it in better. Cool. And then we could take, we'd probably lower the levels down a bit just to make it a little bit darker. And then we'll brighten up the middle and the sides a little bit, just because that's where everything should be the focus. There we go. And then our, you know, our little samurai dude would probably be like here. Well, probably like that, and then on a horse. I don't know if I like him on the horse. Maybe if it was a horse like this, you know, kind of off to the side. This is gonna be a crappy horse, but you'll get the you get the idea of somebody here off to the side like that, maybe. Looking at the navigator at the top right here, just to get an idea of the composition. And I think off to the side like that is the way to go. So I think if we do a little bit lower though, so like this, and then creepy weird horse thing like that, and then he's up on top like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. Something like that. Cool. Also, while we're at it, we can go ahead and add our little samurai dudes here just so we can visualize where they are. I think one would be like here, standing. And then the other one would be probably here. But the thing is if you put them in front of the building, it's gonna be too bright, so, or too dark. So I think if we just put them, for now, if we just do like here, I think that'll work. Because he's also standing right where the light is. So that makes sense. Okay, so we got those two sketches going. This one on the right, I'm not sure what this would be exactly, unless we make it just like a peaceful scene, like maybe just like some place where people are living at. So if we just kind of just play on the idea of it's just a temple, like a really nice temple that people stay at. Maybe monks are here doing their monk thing. So just kind of get these trees visible here. Yeah, I think we'll just leave that right side for now. So people would be probably here. You would have some people working on the area down here. Maybe somebody is fishing here. Dude's just chilling right here in the water. And then maybe over here we could balance out the composition by putting some stuff over here. Somebody just hanging out. Okay. So now we need a fourth composition. A fourth one, I don't know. Fourth one I found, you know, actually I don't know. we could try something like this. So this one is another temple area, like the entrance. But I thought it would be cool if there was a shot in the game or the movie, whatever we're working on, that had something like a centralized composition of a little bit more centered. There we go. There. So something like this, but where the two villains, heroes, whatever, that are fighting each other are fighting in this middle square. So if we go ahead and get rid of all these people first off, which should be fairly simple since this isn't a too complex piece, and then any kind of stuff that we get rid of here is just going to copy the nearby architecture, which might actually help us. So let's see. Get rid of that. Get rid of sketch that out. Grab this boy. There we go. Yeah, I've been playing the game and it's phenomenal. It's really good. I'm not gonna spoil it though, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much. Also, I know some people can't get it for one reason or another, so usually when a game comes out, I try not to talk about it too much to people that I don't know, simply because you don't know if this person really wants it, but they can't get it, so you talking about it's really just gonna rub it in their face kind of thing. So, you know, it's just best to keep it on the down low for a little bit. Let's grab some of that. There we go. Content aware, all of that. The little ones in the background should be fine. You know, while it's doing its thing, I'm just going to take a guess. But the ones in the front, where the people are walking with big poofy coats and stuff, that might be an issue. Nope. Well, look at there. It actually got it all for us. Sweet. So we're going to go and get rid of this stuff, because I don't know what that says, but it most likely says the name of this area. We don't want that. So we'll get rid of that. Oops. We'll just do the signs separately and then grab this mess here. Come on. If it doesn't work, I'll just paint over it. It's fine. Alright. Painting over it. So just grab the nearby shadow colors, kind of just blend them in. There we go. Sweet. Cool. So now the question is, if these two people are fighting in the middle, do I want this giant white background? Probably not. So let's try. Let's try something. Oh, let's try those trees again. Just like that. And then darker color. Then we can go ahead and select the temple part, which is all of this. All of to about there. And then we'll select this roof, which I really like. Really like the way they did roofs. This whole style is just freaking sick. Actually, be easier if we just select the sky. Lower the tolerance down at the top here. Put it down to like 5, and then just select the sky. There we go. Sweet. We'll fix this up. There we go. Cool. So, delete that, because we don't want that. Turn this back on. Actually, no, keep the, yeah, we can keep the sky, and just select inverse. Delete all of the trees that are in front of the temple. But we might want to keep some of the trees. I don't know if we want to delete all of them. Yeah, we don't want to delete all of them. So what we can do is we can keep the mask here as a way to, you know, be able to erase without affecting the background. So we'll just kind of erase some of this stuff off here. Some there. I like these trees on the left, so I think I might just keep those in. Let's bring this wall back. And we'll bring some of this stone staircase here back into the trees, or back into the leaves, right? But you don't want to delete it too much because it's going to be too bright. You can always mess with the levels though, so I guess we could just do that. Sweet. That's going to be too much, I think, if we go down there. Yeah. Cool. All right, so let's leave that. And we'll go ahead and adjust the levels on the actual temple itself. We'll bring the highlights down. So just do like that. And then bump up the shadows just a little bit. Just to kind of help everything fit together. There we go. So now take the midtones, and you want to bump the background a bit, brightness wise, because it's going to help the character stand out in the middle, which means we can get rid of the trees here and here. Maybe this is some kind of, I don't know, like a leftover. I guess not leftover. It'd be a temple that's out in the middle of the woods, but then it's just been there a very long time, so there's leaves everywhere. Let's see. So let's content aware these trees back in. Is it gonna grab a tree? Yeah, it will. Sweet. Do like that. Cool. And then if we want to affect the leaves. It was on darken, so I think I had an idea to adjust the lighting, but I think if we adjust the lighting after we get the general composition down, it'll make it a lot easier, just because we won't waste time on it. So just delete all that stuff. There we go. Cool. Sweet. All right, so let's add our warriors here in the middle. They would be kind of like here. I need a dark, something like that. Yeah. So they would be about here. Kind of just chilling. Well, not chilling, but they'd be fighting. So, but they'd be staring each other off, you know? Just like waiting for the first one to make the move. So throw a little sword in there. And then second one would be about here. Like that. He's got his arm ready to go. Okay. And it's probably really hard to see on your recording or on the stream, but I'm gonna fix that. If we just take some screen here, soft brush, screen, set down about 30. There we go. Yeah. And then kind of just brighten up behind him a bit. All of that actually. Push it back a little bit. Here we go. I think our little dudes need to be bigger. Just kind of scale them up. Yeah, see, I like this. I like this. Oh boy, excuse me. I like this centralized composition, right? With a temple-ish temple. I mean, it's more of like a community area, but this kind of cinematic, just like focus on the fighting silhouette, right? You don't want all the other stuff going on. We could do the establishing shot on the right and the top right. We can have this dramatic hero shot on the bottom left of him traveling through the trees. And then of course we have a similar shot of the two samurais going after it, or going at it, but the top left one's a little bit more zoomed out. I like this closer one. I will say that it could use those red trees again, top left, which I just really like these trees because of the color. So let's see. Yeah, it looks cool. So we'll just bring those in all the way. And then the question is, do we leave it red or do we have red as the character and change this to something else? Let's see. So not blue, not purple. Yellow is kind of cool. Instead of solid red, we could get some of that yellow in there. Like that. Bump the saturation a little bit, not too much. Like I said, you want it to be there, but you don't want to hate it. Okay. And then if we go to color balance, we can also add some more of that yellow in there. Just to really emphasize. Here we go. So before and after. Yeah, I'm liking this bottom right one. I think this is the one we're going to go with. So let's delete some of this stuff here though. Actually, I don't know. I think we'll leave it. We'll delete the bottom bits because we don't want that to be affected. But this top bit having color bleed through from the photo textures above it makes it look like leaves are on it. You know, leaves from the surrounding trees and stuff, which is pretty dope. That's what we want. Come on, there we go. So, let's go with this bottom right one, faux show. But I think this bottom piece down here, where the leaves are, might look cool if we delete some of the leaves. Have like a pond, or maybe just like, let's see. We're just playing around with stuff here. Which is most of the fun, you know, just kind of goofing off. Yeah, I think if we bring these statues, or these stone parts in the entrance here, these, maybe, might look cool. Bring these back in. Nah, I think we'll leave it. The focus is on them. That's what we want it to be. I think a banner, maybe in the background, might be kind of cool. Like if we had a, like a little flag with whatever color on it. Ah, I'm on darker color. Oops, there we go. So maybe like some banners here. Just hanging off. Or maybe even banner, ooh, you know what? Maybe some banners here. On the front here. Or here, maybe? Maybe along the watchtower here. Let's do like 2 of them. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think we'll leave those in there. All right. So this is the one we're gonna go with. So let's go ahead and crop it down. Usually I have to debate myself, you know, be like, which one do I want? But this bottom right one's definitely a way to go. So let's get rid of all those. Crop it down. Something like that. Here we go. Now we can really get nitty gritty of it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, dog? You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's go ahead and merge everything. And well, duplicate and then merge because we create our own little checkpoint. There we go. And nobody likes to play a game that doesn't have a way to save. So nobody likes to paint without a way to save. So why don't we just make a checkpoint along the way? So we got our 2 dudes here. We got some stuff back there. I think it's interesting, but this back bit needs to be more interesting. Not sure how to do that. Oops, that's weird. Not sure what to add back there. We could probably add some. Stop it. We could probably add some colors first of all. We can add some of these tree colors in there. So some of this orange. Just kind of throw that in there. We do this on a separate layer because we can set it to like a darken, like a darker color probably, and then it'll take all these highlights and it'll add whatever colors that we just put on top of it into the highlights instead of anything else, which is perfecto. So we do that. Transparency lock, so we can just paint on what we've selected here. Kind of just throw in some of these yellows. Some of this like super orange. And some of this green. There we go. And then if we take that and go darker color, Perfect. It takes those white highlights and it adds that color to them, which is nice. Just exactly what we wanted. So let's kind of delete this piece. So I'm not sure what that is exactly, but I'm just gonna kind of fade it out. There we go. And then we can also add that here a little bit. Let's throw it around. Cool. So we've got this very messy sketch. Ugh. So first things first. Actually, I'm not going to say that, because really when it comes to sketching and when it comes to painting and stuff, there's not really a first thing you should handle. Once you get the composition set and once you get the ideas set in your head, whatever your next idea that comes up, just handle whatever's next. Don't be like, well, which do I attack the building first or do I go after the trees first? It doesn't matter. It's going to end up it's like when you eat something, it doesn't really matter because they're all going to end up in the same place. So you might as well just go with it as it goes. So on this darker color layer, we are going to fix these trees. That is the first thing I want to do. So that's what we're going to do. So let's grab some of this. And I'm doing it on the darker color layer just because of the fact that I know it's going to be a darker value. So it's just, makes sense why make 3 different layers for the same thing. We could just put them all in the same. There we go. So grab some of this tree stuff, darken it up a bit. Right now we got transparent trees. We don't want that. I like this actually just being a wall instead of a tree. So we'll just paint that in. Let's do a wall here. Like that. Go. Cool. Bring some of this tree in. Just going around, just cleaning stuff up. This would be after I've already sent it to the client, so the client's already confirmed the direction that it's going, and they're like, you know what, that looks lit, fam. So, just everything is already confirmed, so there's really no reason to worry. You don't have to really think on certain spots about what you're going to add in for detail and stuff. It kind of just comes to you as you are detailing everything. So if you just want to put on this, this is perfect time to, when you're by yourself, to put on some music, kind of just chill out, just jam, just really detail out this concept here. And not really focus on anything else. This color on the back, the color looks perfect, but on the front here, the color is nice because it looks like it's got leaves. However, because it is so textured, it looks a lot like it's transparent. It looks like it just looks like it's transparent. So we need to fix that problem, and to fix that, it's pretty simple. All we have to do, while I'm going through fixing up the roof here, do some of that. Some of that there. The line. Just trying to match to the left side a little bit. There we go. So the roof kind of, what is this now? So the roof goes like that. It's got like a little spike on it. We don't want a spike. We'll get rid of that. Okay. So then this piece like that. We got all these little spikes here. Spikeroonies. We don't want the spikes because the spikes tend to not really be Japanese. It tends to be more Korean. It's just a little too extravagant, you know, for somewhere out in the middle of the woods like this. Because this was not made with modern technology, so any kind of spikes and stuff were not fabricated in duplicates. They all had to be made one at a time by hand. And, you know, they really don't want to put that much time into it if they can't afford it. So that's like royalty stuff. So let's clean this up a bit. I mean, I'm saying cleaning up a bit, but I'm actually making it more rough because right now I'm just kind of brushing over the leaves that are sticking out here. Because it's adding, it adds a color that I want, so I'm not getting rid of all of it. But it is making it look like there's, you know, it's transparent. So we don't want that. So we get rid of some of it. Just kind of do like that. Fix it up a bit. There we go. Okay. And then I think the right side could use some more as well. Just adding in some like implications of color, but not really loading it with color. Just because this is the roof. This is not, excuse me, I just ate before this. So, you know, Honey Nut Cheerios are fighting me. But this is the roof, but it's not like it's covered in leaves on the very top here. This is more of like a wall at the very top. So the wall would be kind of flat and it would have color involved just so that we can blend it into the rest of the image, but it wouldn't be superbly colorful. There we go. Cool. I think that's looking legit. Sweet. So before and after, kind of get more of a determined wall here. We do want to darken it a little bit. It's a little bit too bright. There we go. Cool. So now back to fixing this like weird texture of the leaves and stuff on the roof itself. That's an easy fix. All we have to do is paint leaves in between, because leaves don't just fall on the like the beams, you know, the support, whatever they're called. It's not just gonna fall on those, it's gonna fall on the whole roof. So what we're gonna do is we're going to paint some leaves on there. Yeah, something like this. But we want it to be more angular, and yeah, something like that. Cool. So if we take this color here and kind of just kind of do some of this. Actually, I don't even know if that's the way I want to go about this. I might actually just use the mask and mask out some sharper leaf edges instead of leaving it so soft like this. Just not sure. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this right here, and we are going to yeah, I think I'll just mask it out. No reason to make it any more complicated than that. So we'll mask all of this stuff out, including up here in the darkness. Just doing some generic shapes here. Just because it's a natural formation of leaves, so there wouldn't be a perfect shape of leaves, obviously. And kind of just do like that. It's very rough. It's very rough mask. It's a little bit too sharp of an edge here. Okay. And then if we just go over it, oops. If we just go over it, some value here, pick some of the nearby stuff. Let's kind of just throw in some shadows, some shade, some schmade. Go. Okay. And then yep. All right. So then we can set this probably yeah, I think we'll just leave that and then kind of just sketch it out a little bit, erase it out a bit. There we go. Yep. So now we can kind of just fake the edges here. Something like that. Whoops. Paint over it, make it all pretty. Because we've got these cool leaves, we really want to play with them. We want to emphasize this color all over the place. But we also don't want to go nuts with it, you know, it's got to have some kind of reason to it. So, let's do like that. And then levels, bring them down. It's a little bit too bright. There we go. And then we can always darken the top of it, right in the front of it a little bit. So a bit like that. There we go. It's looking cool. Now we need to mimic the color though of the leaves on the ground, because right now the leaves on the ground are still that classic, like, just, you know, standard leaves that people put in a fire, like they put in a pile and then they pour gas on it and light it up, which I've never done, but I've seen a lot of videos of that going wrong. So we want to make that color continue to the bottom. And I think the easiest way to do that, honestly, would be, we could probably duplicate this top layer. Yeah, and just bring it down here. Duplicate it again. Bring it over here. A little bigger. Like that. Merge those two. And then I think lighter color would be the way to go here. Yeah. Lighter color. Just kind of do like that. Here we go. We do want to make it a little bit darker. It's too bright at the moment. So actually, you know what? Darker color. And then make it darker. There we go. Yeah. So we also don't want it to be that dark. We want it to match the kind of roof at the top. Like there's actually a bit of level of light, you know? So light would probably be around here. Roof is there, so let's say maybe some of the stairs are lit up as well. Something like that. So we can easily just do that. And we can either paint it in, you know, like that kind of thing. Like that. Or we might be able to actually just adjust the mask itself. So if we go to the mask, we go select and mask up here, set it to like a feather. I don't know, not too much though, because too much will be too soft. Maybe like 2 pixels probably. There we go. And then paint it in. And it should soften that a bit. So now we can paint it in. There we go. And then just kind of delete it a bit, you know, here and there, to make it look like the leaves are actually underneath other leaves, you know? There's actually like a bit of depth here. It's not just a layer of leaves on top of everything. There's actually a mixture of the layers. There we go. And then here, delete it a little bit. There we go. Cool. So now we do want to go ahead and probably merge and duplicate. So we'll duplicate and merge. Put them all on the same layer. Let's adjust the saturation a bit. If we bump it up too much, it'll look gross. I think it's just the trees and these banners that need to be more saturated. Saturation, whoops. Well, vibrance works. No, do saturation. Saturation. Okay, and then we'll take the whole image. Auto tone, nope. Auto contrast. I think auto contrast actually works. No. Auto contrast is too much. Auto color. Yeah, auto color works. Alright. So now we can go ahead and start messing with the lighting. So if we do the midtones, the bottom, back here. It's too bright back there. Might do the shadows in the back. Just like that, just kind of fade them out. There we go. And then we want to bump up the tree highlights just a little bit. Just to really add a level of light coming around here. Okay. Yeah. do want to darken the sides a bit, because I don't like corners. I say it every time. I just really don't like the corners. Okay. So, levels. Make the whole thing a little bit brighter. There we go. Sweet. So, after some lighting adjustments. It's good in there. Alright. So now we need... The two main fixes that need to be done, obviously, are the samurais need to be painted in, and the banners are just two yellow pieces of paper. So we could probably fix those fairly easily. But before we do anything, I think what we're going to do is... Because, like I said, this is supposed to be more cinematic, right? So why don't we take the whole image... Move it up a little bit, and we'll do this kind of classic letterboxing with the cinematic bars, you know? So something like that. So then we get a better feel of the actual scene itself, right? This is, you know, a cinematic shot. It's going to be in a it's either going to be in a game cinematic or it's going to be in a movie. And then since, of course, it's supposed to be like Ghost of Tsushima and classic samurai movies, you know, there would be black bars. So the letterboxing, or, you know, it's basically just to make it fit an aspect ratio, but it does add a bit of coolness to it. So I think what we'll do is we'll do that just so we don't have to paint unnecessary parts of the image. You know, we have like an actual visual effect telling us where we need to paint. So now let's play with the composition a bit. Let's make it more centralized. Something like there. Yeah, something like that. Just gonna stretch it out. And then maybe all right, first off, crop everything. There we go. So that's centered. All right, cool. So stretch it out. There we go. Sweet. So now we have this really cool center composition focusing on these two about to really go ham on each other, right? So let's see if we mess around with the colors here a bit. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So just for what I'm thinking of here, consistency's sake, let's take this top bar and duplicate it and then bring it down here so that way it's actually the exact same size instead of it being a guess. There. Cool. So what do we need to fix? We need to fix the lighting on here. First off, there's this like this walkway here, or this staircase. There needs to be more of an established point where it ends. Because right now, I mean, you know, it can be covered up with leaves, it's fine. But right now, it's kind of just being blocked by random stuff. So let's kind of just get that back in there. Cool, cool. Get some of these leaves in here on the top. Something like that, which is very uneven because it's just a pile of leaves. Same thing over here. And then this right here looks like it wants to be a tree going up, but I don't like a tree being there because it's going to mess with the composition of being so centralized and symmetrical. So we're going to content aware this a little bit and see what it does. And this piece too. There we go. Because then, you know, it's going to be symmetrical, but you don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical. You still want it to have some kind of difference to it. So actually, I think if we take these trees and kind of just bend them to our will, because this is our world, so we can kind of just do whatever we want to here, as long as it makes sense. Okay, and then this one could probably come out like that, and then down like that, and then this one will be connected to it, so maybe it comes up like that. Smooth it out a bit, so that way it doesn't look like Play-Doh. There we go. And then on a separate layer, we'll paint those in just to see what it looks like compositionally. Here we go. Doobity doop boop. Skeebity bop. Bada bing. Bada boom. I think it looks cool. I don't like the twist in the tree. I don't like this intersection here. So I think we'll delete that. And we'll take this other tree here and kind of just follow it, but like have it go vertical like that. That might work. Nah, it looks weird. I think that third one, I think this one over here might actually be better if we just make it go straight. So if it just went, actually this one too, I think if we just had it grow up instead of being a child. So if we just go up here, get rid of some of that, have it going up, but it's not like perfectly up. There we go. Yeah, that's better. It's looking good. Sweet. So we did that on a separate layer simply because of the fact that we want to push the building behind it. We want to push it back a little bit, like that. But we don't want it to be so terrible. We want it to kind of just help these trees stand out a bit. Go. And then I think since we got some on the left here, might as well duplicate them. Move them over here. And we could probably have something like that on the right. Transform, flip horizontal. Let's see. I think one on the right would be fine. So if we get rid of this one and that, and what this is going to do is it's going to, I mean, obviously it's going to put a tree here, but it's also going to help frame the composition even more than it already is. I think if we do another tree, it'd be better. So it helps us frame the composition that's already symmetrical, but then just make it even more symmetrical while also adding some asymmetric elements to it. Or make it more centralized while also adding some asymmetrical elements to it. So like that. Merge those layers. We want this to be on top of the walkway, so there would be a bit of like light on the ground where this walkway is in front of the trees. Here we go. And then these trees over here. I think these trees over here on the left could probably be the same way. If we take this layer, flatten it up a bit. No. Okay. So we're just going to paint this over. So if we just take some of this grayness here. Well, I guess, I mean, since we're playing with this idea of the staircase also being on the left like that, I guess what we could do is we could just take the staircase, copy it, transform, flip horizontal, and bring it over here like that, so that way we don't want that part, but then we have this kind of staircase set up here a little bit, which symmetrically would be like here. Okay, that's fine. Because I'm trying to think, how are the trees growing? Is this ground here? It's just uneven ground? Or, oh, you know what? I got it. Alright, we'll just fix it this way. We'll have the trees come in the front. Just like that. Okay. And then we'll take some of this leaf idea, where it's all over the place. Kind of just bring it over. Whoops. Wrong layer. There we go. Kind of just bring that over. That. Some of this dark orange in there. And then bring in some of that bright orange. Kind of yellow. There we go. So, I think that covers the trees in the front, gives us this kind of vertical framing for everything, which is great. We do want to add some leaves or branches off of it, maybe, which would be a bit like this kind of thing. We don't want it to be on the bottom, you know, because it'll add too much complexity to the image. So we're just going to throw some branches on the top here. Something like that. Something like that. Because if we start putting branches all the way down this tree, it's going to draw the eye away from the whole point, which is these two in the middle here. But if we don't put any branches on it, it's going to end up looking kind of bizarre. So we just really need to put something here. Like that. There we go. So now we got some kind of branch feeling to it, which is perfect. Sweet. All right. We can also emphasize that with some leaves. If we go with this one. Like that. Cool. Sweet. All right. So now we've done the leaves, we've got the trees, we've got the framing. I think really the only thing that needs to be fixed now is this background bit. And what needs to be fixed back there, I think, for one, is that this is way too white. This bit right here. So we'll just contour that out. Okay. I like these little diagonal cross pieces here. So let's kind of bring those in everywhere. Maybe here. And then duplicate it again. Bring them here. Actually, that one would require two. So duplicate. Actually, you know what? I think behind the characters should stay dark, just to help them stand out. So we'll leave that. Delete that part. There we go. Go back here. We're gonna paint in this piece. There we go. Let's kind of fix our samurai dude here. Okay. Sweet. So just kind of visualizing in my head what his armor silhouette would be. He might even have a hat. A classic samurai hat. Like that. I guess like that. Maybe. Okay. Sweet. I'm just trying to picture what's going on here. Okay. Cool. Hey David, how's it going? This is not a very complicated piece, so it's not going to be as long as my usual tutorials, because really it's so zoomed in, it's so cropped in, but it's really just going to be the focus on these two guys. So hopefully, you know, we'll be finished up here in probably like an hour, maybe hour and a half. Trying to think here. I'm leaving them last simply because I just want to make sure that everything else fits into place before making sure they fit into place. Let's clear that out. There we go. I think behind them, actually, instead of being dark, it might be cool if it was red to help. This wall red to help bring out the focus to be them. So let's do that. Let's deselect these dudes. Looks like what's his name, Mako from Battleborn. Guy with a mushroom hat. So something like that. Might help them stand out a bit. Which also means we need to bring that wall in over here. Like that. Fix that up a bit. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm still, you know, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, so the feeling and the mood has just been embedded into my brain. So that's the kind of mood that I'm going for. There's a bit of this line on these walls where there's like a black line and then whatever this, what I'm assuming is embossed or carved in. Not sure, to be honest. But I want to continue that same idea for these walls that I just did. So we're going to need to fake it till we make it here. So something like that. And then same thing here. And here. So just like that. And then we want to probably tone that down, but right in the bottom of it. There we go. Sweet. I think this middle piece is missing something here. This bit right here. I don't know. I think content aware is just going to delete it. Yeah, we want to keep this, but we want to make it cool. So let's kind of just fake. I mean, this whole thing's fake, right? Let's do like a kind of a fake Japanese iconography here. So something like that. And then we can even add some spirals around, or some waves coming off the sides here. Like that. There we go. Cool. And then you want probably to round this out on the edges. Like that. Sweet. And then we can probably leave that. I think that might be fine, unless we do our own little, yeah, that'll look better. Do our own little mini pagoda. Like that. And then another one. Like that. Sweet. So now we have some kind of entrance signage thing going on here. Just like that. Coolio. Okay. So I think it might be really cool. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to affect the narrative too much, but it would look cool, is if we bring in some incense burners and kind of have them, I don't know, would they be hanging from the ceiling? Yeah. So kind of just do like these round, flat bottom girl style incense burners here. Something like that. A couple here. Even if you can't really see it, it's still there, so it still affects the composition a little bit in the story and how this place feels, you know? It adds more to the mood, which is great. We'll throw some here. We don't want it to be symmetrical. We want it to be centralized, but just don't want everything to match on every side, because that's not the way it works. For some things, for architecture, generally, you know, one wall looks like the other wall, generally, but sometimes it's when things are hanging off of it that people have placed that tend to not look symmetrical at all. So we'll grab some of this kind of gold color just to establish that this stuff is probably made out of something gold, or whatever this material is here. So like that. Just gonna throw these around. Okay. Maybe one here. Like that. Cool. So now we have these like incense burners, right? Which is great, and it also adds a bit of a smoky feel to this area. And since this is going to be a battle between these two guys, then we can add some coolness with that smoke if we just go in a separate layer, just kind of flims it up a bit. Nothing too perfect. Doesn't have to be anything, you know, Michelangelo worthy smoke. This is just, we're kind of just implying here that these are smoking. And when it comes to smoke, it's always nice to kind of just break it up a bit. Smoke isn't usually one solid plume. It is when it's like fire, you know, when it's like a solid fire, but when it's something kind of just smoking like incense, it would break up. It would have some kind of value difference between the two. So it's always good to kind of just break it up a bit. Go. Sweet. And then if we just use a little bit of black, just enough, it'll kind of add to that smokiness that's going on. Yeah, that works. I can dig it. But you don't want to fill it in. You kind of just want to use it as a guide to kind of paint in. I don't like this bit here. That part. Get out of here. There we go. Sweet. So then the smoke coming from these front ones can be a little bit brighter. Just because they're in the front. So it kind of makes the value of the smoke a little bit lighter. Easier to see, you know, because it's a dark background. So like that. Go. Let's do some of this one too. Like that. And then we'll kind of just, like I said, just light it up a bit with the smoke. Just enough. There we go. Yeah, that's working. So it's very stylized smoke, you know, but it's not, it still reads as realistic because everything else is going on. So it's a good implication with smoke, right? It's nice. I think honestly those two yellow banners on the left and right, if we use some black or like a darker value, we could probably imply some writing on here. Like that. Same thing with this one. But as far as fixing it up, I don't think we have to do that. Because it's so far on the sides here. I think it's more of an implied detail situation. So that's what we're going to do. There we go. And then we'll fix the top of it so it looks like it's actually attached to the roof here. That's there we go. I'm actually going to dull them down a bit. Take the highlights, bring them down. Yeah, because the focus is these guys in the middle. So, sweet. I think that's looking legit. I'm trying to think what else we can do here. I think it might look cool if this wall behind this one right here had a circle on it. But obviously it can't just be a plain circle. It'd have to be something kind of cool. Something like that. We'll even add some bars to it. Like that. And then we'll make it a bit gold. Not that much, but something like that maybe. Yeah, I like that. So we'll keep that, but we're going to bring it back in. We're gonna make it darker just a little bit, just because it's taking up a lot of focus from our dudes here. There we go. Sweet. And then we can also just kind of do some of that as well. Bring some of that yellow in. Cool. So I think as far as fixing anything else goes, really the only thing left that would make a major impact on the image would be the samurai dudes. So we need to paint them in. We're not going to paint them in to where it's like super rendered, you know? We're going to paint them in to where it makes sense and you can read what's going on. And you can feel the color and the design of them. So first things first, let me find some pictures of samurai armor, because coming up with that on the fly is something a little bit more difficult than usual. I think this one works. Try this one. So this is just a random samurai thing I found online. But what's cool about it is it gives us a bit of an idea, right? So let's bring it down to about here. So I'm going to zoom in. There we go. Sweet. So let's figure out how do we get that armor on those guys. Okay, because we're just going to imply it, right? So it's not going to be anything perfect. So let's start doing that. Let's go here, I think. Yeah, about here. So let me double check. Yep. All right. So let's say a boy on the right here has that kind of armor. So he would have this kind of helmet piece kind of sticking out like that. Then you would have shoulder bits. And you can see I'm not really focused on how perfect it is. I'm more focused on just the shapes, because that's pretty much what this whole piece is, right? It's just shapes. So that's what we're going to keep. So I think with his arm coming over, this would be like that kind of thing. And then he would have his neck bits here. That. And of course the chest piece. Somewhat like that. A little bit more round. And then cut off here because there's an arm. Okay. Then he would have this kind of waist bit going down to his knee. He would have one here too. Let's fix that. There we go. So it starts, all right. So it tapers at the bottom. Got it. So it's like that. That kind of deal. Cool. There we go. And then we'd have the same thing here. And then on the back. Okay, but then his arm is going here, so just kind of break that off. Then he has this kind of underdress piece. I don't know what you call that. Under Armour, or is that branded? So then this bottom piece would continue down that way. And then he's got the boots, which we're just going to imply the boots. It's going to be like something like that. Okay. I like this middle piece. That needs to be fixed. Like that. Okay. So that's his general armor piece. I like these little, I think its head might need to be, yeah, I think its head's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to make him blue. So dark blue. Something like that. A little bit. Yeah, something like that. And then we're going to fix it up, obviously. We don't want to look like some weird cardboard monster. But that was just an idea to get going with his armor. And then his sword would be here, like that, and that, like that. Cool. This piece needs to come back. That needs to come off. Problem is his boxy chest, that's what it is. There we go. And then we'll kind of make him a little bit thinner. Here we go. Cool. Sweet. So we'll round off his crotch piece here. Okay. There we go. Sweet. All right. So now we've got this going. We need to make the hat. The hat would probably be like an off-white, similar to this concrete nearby, because it's probably straw. So let's fix that like that. You can come down some more. Something like that. It's kind of shaded up a bit. Okay. Like that. I think honestly he'd probably look better without the helmet piece, because he's got this big old hat. Okay. There we go. That's that Raiden hat from Mortal Kombat. That's what that is. There we go. There's a weird tangent with this red wall back here in the hat, so I'm trying to fix that without ruining the hat itself. That's fine. Cool. So now let's take this hat. There we go. And we can add some kind of shadow into it around the rims. Make it feel more rounded. There we go. Cool. So we got rough sketch of Samurai B. Now we need Samurai A. To do that, though, we need to find another armor piece, because we don't want them to be the same. So I'm going to keep this here just for reference for when we come back in detail Samurai B a little bit more. But let's see. Excuse me. Turn this off. Thank you. All right. So let's see. See what kind of samurai armor we could find for number A, or letter A, first guy. Something a bit lighter, I think, because the one on the right's so decked out. I think something a little bit quicker, like a robe, maybe? Like a samurai robe. Let's see. Something like this is cool. I like this. Alright. Something like this guy. So just flip it. Sweet. Alright. So I like this robe idea, but obviously it's not going to be that perfect of a robe. So let's go with this layer again. Whoops. This layer again. I think his hat is a little bit boring, real quick. Just a little side note. I think what needs to happen is he needs like a ring around his hat. Maybe like that. Kind of emphasize that it's rounded. Nah, it looks dumb far away. So let's add some kind of coolness to his hat, maybe. like a design, some kind of sketchy design. Like that. And I think it's fine with just a line. We'll just have to do another one on the top as well. Just like that. Maybe even another one. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's fine. Cool. So, now we gotta get back to Roadman. Let's see. So, I'm just trying to picture in my head here. First off, what we can do is we can take the armor that we've already wasted time on. Well, not wasted time, but we already spent time on it. And bring him over to this guy. Just so we know about where his feet are. And about the proportions of his body. Get rid of this whole top bit. Because see, right now his head is too big. So we can go ahead and fix that based on now that we have this established size and proportion and everything. His stance is a little bit more straight though, because he's a bit more confident. He's a bit more like Samurai Jack. So let's fix his head. If we continent where it should just get rid of it. Yeah, that's close enough. Alright. So his head's like that. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. We don't want it to look cartoonish though, you know, so it's gotta have some kind of accuracy to it. But we also don't want it to be like super fleshed out, you know? So if we do, just looking at his head shape and his hair, something like that. We can give him a little ponytail in the back, that classic samurai ponytail. I think we'll leave him like no skin color, just silhouetted like that, because it fits the shadow that they're in. And if whenever we get back to darkening this, you know, it's gonna look better if we just leave it without skin color, I think. So that's what we're gonna do. Whoops. All right, so we got Roadman's head fixed. We can see about where his body is now. So on this layer, we're going to try to flesh out this robe a bit. Let's do something like this. So this is the part that breaks off. Then his arm. All of this really. He's kind of leaning over, so this middle chest piece would kind of be folded over. He's got classic V-neck. Dude's looking like he's going to a club. There we go. And then his belt area should be about here-ish. It's a little bit higher than normal, because that's the way they roll. And then he's got these really baggy pants, which makes it easier to move in. So, totally get it. Go. And then we'll have it, because he's facing him, so we'll have it break around here. And we'll see where his feet are. That's his feet. So baggy pants would kind of come around his feet. It wouldn't go all the way down to the floor like that. There we go. Cut this down. Bring it down a bit more. Cool. So on this layer, we'll take probably a white, just like an off-white. That. Take some of this brown for the vest, and then take some of this blue for his pants. There we go. And then what we want to do is we want to make sure that he stands out as being like the hero, right? So, yeah. So, we'll go ahead and fix this up a bit before we start adding some color in there. His arm is going like here, and then his other arm is coming about here. Well, about like that. Okay, so we need to delete that out to keep that view of his arm going through. And we'll bring it back in, but this time at a darker value so that we can determine the difference between his arm and his chest. He's got his sleeve hanging down. Like that. Yep. So then we'll also do the same thing on this side. Bring his arm in. But then bring in the sleeve. It's got that like really baggy folded kind of sleeve effect, which is cool. Not sure how that would be in actual fight. I feel like that would be obnoxious to have your sleeve bouncing around everywhere. But, you know, whatever. There we go. Okay, so then we'll fix up his pantaloons. I think the white is probably not a good choice. I think we'll change this to yellow. Something like this. Darker. Much darker. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll work. That. Actually, I don't think his brown jacket should be brown either. I think we should make that red. Well, if we do red, then the background will blend in, so maybe not. Okay. Cool. Now we need to fix this bit here. That. Fix this part of his coat, his pants, nothing too exciting. Just making sure everything fits well. We also want to bring his sword back in. So his sword would be like that. Probably here. Like that. And then his pants need to be shaded a bit. Okay, and then he's wearing sandals because he's a bit of a hippie compared to the war dude on the right. So let's give him some sandals. Let's do where's his feet? Here's his feet. So sandals would kind of be like maybe wood color first off. Something like that. Something like that. Maybe less orange. There we go. Fix it up in his toes. Same thing on this side. There we go. Cool. I think we might imply some of his hair being pulled back into a bit of a ponytail. I think he has too much hair. Oh, no, he's looking bald. We go. Sweet. Cool. So now we'll get rid of Robe Man. I don't think we need him anymore. The only thing I was going to keep this for is those lines in his armor, but honestly I think I can do that myself if I just do this kind of thing. And then square this out. Bit like that. Okay. And then his armor chest. Circle, circle, dot, dot. Okay. Bring this around. Cool. And then we'll do his little neck armor pieces. His shoulder blades. Stuff like that. I think that shirt might need to be a different color. I like the yellow, but I think it might need to be something else. We could try red. No. A bit of blue. No, because it matches his pants. So let's try this orange, but way darker and less saturated. Yeah, that works. Cool. Sweet. So fix that up. So his belt piece would go like this. It would have this kind of thing to it here. What I'm doing right now is kind of like the reverse of when you do a line art and then paint over it. And I did the painting and now I'm doing the line art to kind of emphasize certain shapes, something like that. That makes sense? Just a way to help it all really stand out in the long run. There we go. And his shoes as well. Cool. Alright. So, now we will get rid of that guy. We will go ahead and take this layer that we've worked on here, which is these two. Merge. There we go. So before and after. Now we have like some actual, detail here. And we're going to darken them a bit because we want it to be the silhouette that's mostly standing out here. So let's go ahead and highlight or mask the places that we want to darken. I could just do the whole layer, but the problem with doing the whole layer is in the middle of doing that, I painted the black or the red wall in the background. I did some adjustments to that while I was working on the characters. So I'm just going to mask out the layer or the character, because if I do the whole layer, then it's just going to be the wall too, and we don't want that. We do not want the wall messing up our crap, dude. So we'll fix that. Grab some of that. Grab his little feetsies. There we go. Wasn't a perfect job, so I need to clean up a bit there and down here by his sandals. There we go. So now bring the levels down. I'll bring it down a lot. Because it's really, really silhouetted where we want them to stand out. Okay. So now we shall merge everything, duplicate, merge, and grab everything that isn't them, right? So the front, and then we'll grab some of this stuff in the background. I think just a ground in the background, really. Something like that. That'd be fine. And then deselect the characters. Which takes like 2 seconds, so it's fine. I think his sword should be longer though. There we go. Deselect. Deselect this dude. His pantalones. Go. Deselect his swords. I'm gonna bring those back in. Okay, so what we selected right now is basically what we want to brighten, because it's a little bit too dark everywhere, and we need to have this kind of contrast of places lit up by the sun and then them in the shadow with the silhouette. It really help them stand out some more. So we'll just lighten everything up before and after. Do some midtones. we go. So now we need to do the ceiling a bit as well, which is a bit easier. Or the roof, not the ceiling. Just very gently bump the highlights because we don't want it to be super bright. We just wanted to make sense that there is some kind of light coming through. We could also even try a God ray or two in here. It might be a little too much, but we could try it anyways. So with God rays, what I usually do is select and mask, feather it out a lot, like 20 or so. Smooth it out a little bit. Okay. And then on a separate layer, go to screen, soft brush, grab whatever the sun's color is here, which would probably be like probably a warmer color like a yellow. We don't want it that saturated though. So because see, we don't want it in front of everybody, because what we can do is we can actually since it's on a separate layer, first we can really emphasize it here. There we go. So now we can actually just delete from where we don't want it, which is most of this front piece. And what it'll do is it'll show up behind everybody like that. Kind of just erase it out a little bit, because we don't want it to be so significant. We just want it to be there. Oops. Yeah, so just gotta erase this bit out. Erase our dude out of here. There we go. So before and after, it kind of just adds this layer of light to it, which is nice. Cool. Then I think we might actually have a little bit of a softness coming from the top left. Actually, might even just color dodge it, to be honest. Something like that. But the really bright yellow or orange. I think a yellow would work. Somewhere in between. It's like an orange and a yellow. And then just really get some soft rays coming in here. Soften this place up a bit. There we go. Yeah. So you could also filter, pixelate, facet a bit. Yeah, so facet it and then sharpen it. Filter, sharpen. There we go. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, we could add some VFX coming in here, like something like this. On normal. this one. Yeah. So we can, fake some like flower petals that are floating around, or leaves that are kind of floating around. We don't want it to be super crazy. So we kind of want it to be, yeah, like this more blurred out version. So something like that would work. And then you want smaller ones in the background. Mix up the color a little bit. I'll get some really big ones in here. There we go. And then you can filter, blur, motion blur it to the angle that you want. And we're not going to do a lot, we're just going to do a little bit. There we go. And then, yeah, that should be it. Sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and sign it. But I think since, this is more of a simple just concept of like an actual scene directly from the game and the movie, that I don't think it really requires any more detail. This would be something that you could send in to the art director or whoever, that your client, whatever. You could send it to them, and this could be either the finished product, or they might say like, we like this and that, but we could, really use some things could change here and there and stuff like that, which is fine. So since we're at that point though, where adding anything else at this point is not really changing anything, then I'm just gonna go ahead and sign it, and yeah, so I'll sign it with the color from here, which would be that. So, whoops, wrong brush. That, date it, italicize it, bring it down somewhere. I think down here would be fine. Put it like there. And then, I don't know, do I want it there or do I want it on the left side? Because the left side's easier to read. Bring down the brightness on it, it's too bright. And then we'll take, I think it'll just be easier if we just darken this bit a bit. Just so we can have those corners dark. Because I'm telling you, man, I don't like them. I don't like dark corners. Or I mean, I don't like corners. So you gotta darken them a bit. So we want to make sure this is legible, which means we want it there, or do we want it here? I think there's fine. Yeah, right there's fine. That'll work. Sweet. So that's Yeah, about 6K, so yeah, it's readable. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and sign this, or I already signed it, but I'll go ahead and post this throughout the whole duplications of social media and stuff like that. Um, feel free to check out Matte Paint for some images that you can use to do stuff like this. You can, because I've used trees, temples and stuff like that all over. Matte Paint has them. And if you want to see more, you can go to my art station, which is on the description of this video. You can check that out and see more of my work. You can also, follow me. And then whenever we do these every Saturday, but whenever I do these, I usually post it on ArtStation, giving people a heads up. Be like, yo, stream's happening, because sometimes it's not every Saturday. Sometimes it's a holiday or something. So feel free to follow me on ArtStation, and every time I go to do this, you'll find it. If you go to Twitter, if you follow Matte Paint on Twitter, they'll give you like a heads up that everything's happening. And I appreciate everybody joining me. It's fun. It's always fun. Kind of just goof off with you guys while figuring out something to do. Like, something cool. Figuring out something cool. But I think, I think we'll just leave this for now, and I will see you guys next week. We'll probably tackle the same idea, but a different part of the game / movie. Since this is a scene where the two samurais were really going ham, then I'd say the next one would be probably like a hero shot, maybe, of like a environment overlooking a village or something, where it's really like, it's colorful and dramatic, it's just part of the scene and what's going on. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah. So thank you again for joining me, David. I hope you liked it as well. And I will see you guys next week. Take care. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was just about to quit the stream. Yeah, David, before I go. Yes, every Saturday at 3:00, unless it's a holiday on that Saturday, because the past couple of Saturdays we've had like July 4th and stuff like that. So it's been kind of off and on. But yeah, most Saturdays at 3:00 on this channel, I will be here streaming. You can check out the other streams that we've done. They're saved on there, and you can see some cyberpunk stuff that I did. The last one was like a snowy narrative. I went more of like a Last of Us kind of feel. So, feel free to check it out, man. But, yeah. Anything else, feel free to hit up Twitter and Matte Paint. Or, message me on ArtStation, whatever you want to do. And I will help in any way that I can. But I will see you guys later.